guys, welcome to Made by Britsie, episode number 12. I'm Brittany, and this is my podcast where I get to share with you everything that I've been knitting and sewing. I'm so excited to be here, and I just want to say welcome to any new subscribers and welcome back to any of my returning viewers. If you subscribed after the last podcast and you had to wait 4 weeks for this one to come out, I'm so sorry. I typically try to stick to a every 2 week schedule, but I just got kind of busy lately, and we did a little traveling to Jersey, and I just haven't had a chance to record an episode, but I should be back on track from now on. So if you want to see more of what I'm working on, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry. I'm usually more active on Instagram, although I'm slowly getting better at the whole Ravelry thing as far as posting my projects and putting notes and joining like chatter threads and groups and stuff. So yeah, slowly getting better at that. But for the time being, I'm mostly on Instagram. And so I'll start off by showing you guys what I've been working on. I have started a few new projects since we last talked, so let me grab those. So the first thing I have to show you guys is actually a little bit unexpected as far as the pattern, because it wasn't something that I'd really planned on casting on, and even more unexpected is the yarn choice. So I should probably give a little bit of a backstory. I went to Michael's in search of some Christmas decor because I'm trying to get a head start on putting up my Christmas stuff. And so I went to Michael's, which I haven't been there quite a while, and they didn't have exactly what I was looking for as far as that Christmas stuff. But somehow I made it over to the yarn section, and it's been a long time since I bought yarn from Michael's. So when I first started knitting, that was basically the only place I got yarn, knitting with mostly acrylic and cotton, or sometimes wool if they had it, but they don't have a huge selection of wool at Michael's or Joann's or any of those big craft stores. So anyway, I just wanted to see if anything had changed or if they had anything different. And so as I'm browsing the yarn aisle, I stumble across this giant ball of yarn for $10. Now, this is 100% acrylic, which is just crazy because it actually is soft and it almost has the look of wool. I feel like it's kind of got a heathered look, and it doesn't feel plasticky like I remember acrylic yarns feeling. So I don't know if they've kind of stepped up their game, but this is called A Pound of Love, and this is by Lion Brand Yarns. And it's the charcoal colorway. So anyway, I didn't really intend to buy this. I was just kind of like touching things and looking. And then I remembered this pattern that I've had in my queue for a while, but didn't really have any plans to knit it anytime soon. And it is the Spotlight sweater by Tin Can Knits. So just kind of as a fun experiment, I bought this, and I was like, I don't know, I like knitting with different types of material, so it's kind of nice to, I've only used wool or alpaca or natural fibers, I should say, for so long. I was like, acrylic has gotten such a bad rap. Maybe I should give it a chance because it really feels nice, and I know it's easy to take care of, so that's a plus. So anyway, the Spotlight sweater is a really cool bottom up sweater. It's got what looks like some fairly easy color work at the top, and it was just kind of what I was in the mood for, so I grabbed this. And then for the 3 colors, for the color work, I'm going to use these. And these are also 100% acrylic. So if you're going to do it, why not do it all the way? So this is also a yarn by Lion Brand Yarns, and this is the Heartland line. And I just thought these 3 colors went really well together, especially paired with the charcoal. I think it'll be really nice. Yes, so I did just cast this on, and I don't have a whole lot done. So far, I've got about this much done. So I did modify this a little. The pattern is basically you're just knitting in the round, I think 2x2 rib, but I had just finished the Weekender, which I'll talk about in just a minute. But I really like the split hem and the tubular cast on and the 1x1 rib. So I basically just wanted to do the same thing for the Spotlight sweater, at least for the bottom, and then knit up until I get to the color work, and then that's when I'll use the pattern for the Spotlight sweater. So anyway, right now I've got the front and back hem, and then I started knitting in the round. I am knitting this on US size 8 needles. I definitely need to put these on a bigger cord because it's all squished up right now. Like I'm not this small. It's just on a tiny cord. Yeah, so far I'm actually really enjoying this. The acrylic is not bad to knit with at all. It's got a nice drape, I think, because it's I'm knitting it with bigger needles. So I really have high hopes for this, and I'm excited to see how it turns out because, yeah, as we know, acrylic yarn is definitely budget friendly. So it's always nice to have that as an option. It kind of gives you more things to play with as far as when you're wanting to start something new. If you're not willing to throw down a whole bunch of money on a new project right away, it's nice to just know that this is here. I guess I'm assuming that this is going to work out. This could go horribly wrong and could be a huge mistake, but so far I'm really enjoying it, and I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted on what happens. So my next work in progress is also something new that I decided to cast on. This I'd been wanting to cast on for a while and finally got around to it. So I had bought this yarn a while back. This is Woolenvine Yarns in her Spinderella colorway, and it's on her Sportlandia base, which is 100% superwash merino, sport weight, and I just love this. I think it is so gorgeous. These colors just really, really speak to me. And it was also kind of Halloween-y, I feel like, with the oranges and the purples and the black. So I had wanted to cast this on a little closer to Halloween and didn't really do it when I wanted, but it's finally on the needles, and I guess I should tell you what the pattern is. I am knitting another Marfa shawl, which is a pattern by This Bird Knits, and I knit one, I don't know, a few months ago or a couple months ago, also out of a Madeline Tosh sport weight yarn, and I've just been getting so much wear out of it. It's so cozy. I'm really liking the sport weight. It makes it heavy enough to be a good shawl for winter when it's cold, but it's not so heavy that it's it's not too warm and it's not too bulky under my coat. So I've just, ever since I finished that one, I've been wanting to cast on another one. So I did that. So this is the humble beginnings of another Marfa shawl. My cake of yarn is just a hot mess right now. So yeah, this is what I'm working with. I really need to kind of get that straightened out. But yeah, so I don't have too much progress. I haven't. Most of my knitting time lately had been put towards finishing this, and then starting the other sweater that I just showed you guys. But I really do want to give this some love because I'm super happy with how it's knitting up. I really think the garter stitch is perfect for showing off the super speckly yarn, and yeah, and I really want to have this done before it gets super cold because it'll just be nice to have another shawl in my rotation. So I'm knitting this on US size 5 needles, so it gives it a nice drape, but it's not too drapey. It's pretty substantial as far as being a nice sturdy shawl. So I really like how this is knitting up. So the last work in progress I want to show you guys today is one I did show on the last podcast, maybe the last couple of podcasts, I think, because this probably looks very familiar if you've seen the podcast before. So this started out as the Kobuk Hat by Caitlin Hunter, and it's now turned into the Bumble Hat by Tin Can Knits. You're probably wondering why this isn't done yet, and it's because well, this poor yarn has been ripped out more times than any yarn should be ripped out, but it's held up. So I was almost done with this hat, the Bumble Hat, and I just decided after trying it on, I felt like too big for me. I think I look better in hats that are more tight fitting. It was just too big, and I could just see myself not wearing it. So I was like, there's no point in spending, roughly $60 on yarn for a hat that you're not going to wear. So I ripped it out, and I just ripped back to the ribbing, and then I started again using a smaller needle. I think the pattern calls for a size 10.5, and I'm now knitting this on US size 9. So I'm liking this much better. It's not just this ginormous hat that it was turning into. It's quite a bit smaller, which I think is going to be more flattering for me. And I had also originally knit it with quite a bit of slouch. And now I think this time I'm going to make it more close fitting and not really have much of a slouchy hat. And then I'm going to be able to put a pom-pom on top. So I am knitting this out of Malabrigo Dos Tierras in the Nobuck colorway. And I believe, I lost the tag, but I think this is a 50% alpaca and 50% merino wool yarn. And I'm holding it together with the Shibui Knits, their mohair yarn. I forget the name because I also lost the tag for that one. But yeah, we all know mohair is all the rage right now, and I am really liking it. It gives it a beautiful halo. It's super soft, and I really like this color. I don't always go for neutrals, but as I say that, I'm wearing a giant, very neutral sweater. But yeah, I don't know, just kind of drawn to this. I think the mohair just gives it a nice touch, and I really, really like how this is knitting up now that I've switched to smaller needles. The pattern is just basically a 1x1 rib, but every other round you incorporate some slip stitches, and it gives it a really nice texture. Super simple hat. If you're a beginner knitter and wanting to try something a little more advanced than just like a basic hat, this would totally be a good pattern for you. So since ripping it back, it's kind of been a little bit of a timeout because I should have definitely had this done by now, but I don't know. I had just been frustrated with it and not wanting to work on it as much. But now that I'm liking it a lot more, I feel like I should have this done soon. So my other whips are all just socks, and I haven't put a whole lot of work into them. So I think I'm going to hold off on showing them this week. But next week I'll update you on all my sock whips. I do have a couple of finished objects to share with you this week, and it only makes sense since I haven't podcasted for 4 weeks. I better have a finished object, right? But I've got two. So the first one that I want to show you is the Harlow Hat by Andrea Mowry. This is a hat that I had knit for my husband, and also had some issues with this, not due to the pattern, but mainly just me being a goofball. And so I knit this out of Brooklyn Tweed Loft, and if you've never knit with Brooklyn Tweed, be warned that you should not pull too tight, especially when using DPNs. I don't know about you, but when I'm using DPNs, I have a bad habit of, pulling in between needles to avoid laddering. So most of the time it's fine, but not with Brooklyn Tweed. So I broke the yarn, had to rip back and reattach the yarn, which normally would not be a huge deal, but ripping back in brioche is not the the most fun thing to do. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's, anyway, it is what it is. So I also somehow, I think I was just so frustrated with this project at that point. I was like, why don't I have this hat done? It's just a silly hat. I've already knit one before. Why is it taking so long? Now that it's been blocked, it doesn't show up as much, but I made a mistake somewhere on one row where I think I knit with the wrong color, which I think it's somewhere in there. Yeah. So, the good thing about knitting two-color brioche, you can usually remember which color you're supposed to use. By looking at your yarn overs, you can tell which color you use last, and then you know which row or which one you're supposed to be using next. But I guess I was not paying close enough attention because I did use the wrong one. But it's fine. So Brooklyn Tweed, when you block it, it really kind of plumps up and will forgive a lot of mistakes, I've learned. So yeah, my husband really, really loves this hat. He's been wearing it all the time. I actually had to get him to take it off so I could show you guys. The colors I used are, the darker one is cast iron and the lighter gray is soot. So this is a good, I feel like, beginner brioche project. This is only the second time for me to do brioche, and it's super easy. So if you're new to brioche or wanting to learn, I think this would be a good project. It's not really intimidating at all. It's basically just brioche in the round. And then even the decreases really aren't bad. So definitely something to look into if you want to knit a brioche project. And it's definitely a nice, cozy winter hat. So the next thing, the big FO that I want to show you guys is what I'm wearing right now, which is The Weekender by Andrea Mowry. So I have nothing but great things to say about this top. This honestly felt like a fairly quick knit. It never got old. Even the sleeves knit up quickly because it's worsted weight on size 9 needles, I think. So I never got tired of knitting this. And as soon as I finished it, I wanted to cast on another one, and I have yarn to cast on another one, so I might just do that. But I have been living in this thing ever since I blocked it. I really have not taken it off all weekend. It's the perfect cozy thing to wear around the house, and then at night, if you're going out, you just throw on leggings and boots, and it's the perfect cute top to go out in, and it's so cozy. So I knit this out of Knit Picks, the Wool of the Andes Tweed, and their Down Heather colorway. So this is another very budget-friendly yarn, which I love. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Knit Picks, and I've knit socks out of Knit Picks yarn, but I've never knit like a big project, and I am pleasantly surprised. Especially, this yarn is like $4 a ball, I think, even cheaper most of the time because you can get it on sale. And honestly, I was expecting I have to wear like a long sleeve shirt under this, but it really is soft for me. I wouldn't say soft, but it's not scratchy for me. I don't think I'm super sensitive to wool, but it really is very comfortable to wear. I do have a tank top on underneath, but my arms are bare under the sleeves, and it is not bothering me at all. I love this. I also think this is a good beginner project if you're new to knitting and maybe you've knit maybe some simple things, but you want to kind of learn some new skills. So I actually learned, I had never done a tubular bind off before. So you do that for the sleeves and the neckline, which I really love. I think it gives a nice finished look along the edge. And then you do some cool ribbing detail on the shoulder, which I love. It's knit and reverse stockinette, but you're not purling the whole time. You basically knit it inside out. And I never thought I liked reverse stockinette, but I actually do. I think it really works for this top, especially with the slip stitch down the middle. I'll post pictures so that you can see kind of how I styled it and how it fits. I did knit. I think I knit the extra small, and if I were to knit it again, I'd probably do the small. I mean, there's definitely plenty of ease here, but I think I would even like it a little more oversized and maybe a little longer. But other than that, I have only great things to say about this pattern. I mean, obviously, it's a popular pattern. So many people have knit this, and for good reason, because it's just a great piece to add to your wardrobe. Kind of a basic, but not anything too plain. It's definitely not boring. So yeah, if it's in your queue, I say go ahead and cast it on because you will not regret it. So I do have a little bit of sewing to share with you guys this week. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen a picture of this, but I am super excited about this dress. This was my Halloween dress that I had made out of some Alexander Henry fabric that I bought for Halloween. And let me just give you a close-up of the fabric so you can see like the spider webs and the dead bugs hanging in the spider webs, which is just right up my alley. Yeah, so every year I love themed dresses. I usually end up making like a Halloween dress and then a lot of times a Christmas dress. So this year was no exception, but I did want something that I could kind of wear year round, and this dress was perfect because I sewed version C, which is this one with the bow, and they're basically all the same. As the variations are mostly in the collar. So yeah, I just wanted this big kind of floppy bow, and it is a backless dress, as you can see here. The top is actually fairly easy to construct. There's only a few pieces, and then you just do a circle skirt at the bottom. So I wore this with a cardigan over it for Halloween to work. I dressed up as like a 50s housewife with a little like vintage. Oh, I actually wore that apron that I have on my mannequin back there, so which is a vintage apron. So yeah, that was my Halloween costume. Not a whole lot of people got it, but that's okay. I mainly just wanted to wear my dress. So I think next week or next time I podcast, I'll actually wear this for the podcast so you can get a better idea of how it fits, because it does deserve its 15 minutes of fame. I didn't wear it this time because it's actually not 100% done. I still need to finish decide how I'm gonna fasten the neckband, if I'm gonna do like a button or a hook and eye type thing. And then I did have some issues with fit at the top. So the way this top is constructed, it's a halter top, so you need to get a really good fit. Otherwise, it's going to be like gaping at the sides, and you're going to give everyone a peek of things you might not want them getting a peek of. So yeah, you do need to get a very close fit. And I had made this before a couple of years ago, and I don't recall making any alterations to the pattern, and that dress fits really tight, and it's perfect. So I didn't think I needed to do any adjustments to this one, but I don't know if things changed up here, but it's not fitting as well as the other one did. But I did definitely not the right way to do things, but it worked. I basically decided to tack down the bow right here, and I kind of folded in the edge and tacked it down, so it brought in that gap that I had right here. And I'm sorry, it's really hard to see when it's not on me. So like I said, next week I'll actually put it on and give you a better look at kind of the little alteration I made. But yeah, it's a gorgeous dress. It fits so cute. This is totally my style, like the fit and flare 50s style dress. And I didn't show you the name. It's Butterick, the B4512. It's one of their retro patterns, and I have quite a few of these that I've made, and I love all of them. usually with any of the big four patterns, they allow for quite a bit of ease. So I do always make the smallest size, even though that's not the size that's recommended for me. I've just kind of learned my lesson as far as when I knit the size that's recommended for me, it's usually way too big. So if you're sewing with any big four patterns, definitely make a muslin first, or be aware that there's going to be quite a bit of ease in those. But yeah, other than that, I just absolutely love this dress. I see myself getting a lot of wear out of this, especially in the summer. So I have one more little sewing project to share, and this is a little notions pouch that I whipped up. Nothing crazy, but it's a big deal for me because I was storing my notions in a Ziploc bag for the longest time, and I don't even have a good excuse as to why I was doing that, because I have made project bags before, and there's no reason that I shouldn't have whipped up a little notions pouch a while back, but I guess I was just being lazy, and finally the Ziploc bag had holes in it, and my stitch markers were falling out, so I was like, it's time. So I went to my local fabric store and just got some fat quarters and a couple of cool prints, and this was one of them. So this is a cotton and steel print from their Spellbound collection, which is I think their Halloween collection for this year. So it's cool. It's got like poison bottles, and then I think Eye of Newt. It's got like a spider, so it's cool. It's like kind of creepy, but not too Halloweeny, and I really love the colors in this fabric. Yeah, so I don't know, it's just a little simple notions pouch. I found a tutorial on Pinterest for a zippered pouch, and just made it. You can make it whatever size you want. So yeah, nothing crazy. It really didn't take that long to make, and I definitely should make a few more of these, because maybe like one to go in every project bag. That way I'm never like rummaging around for stitch markers and measuring tape and whatever else I need. So anyway, that's it for sewing. I do have some things that I bought in the past month. I won't share all of them because some of them are just needles and stuff like that. But I did get some yarn that I am excited about. So this is kind of funny because I watched the Caddy Jax podcast, and I forget which one of them. One of them is kind of anti-blue, like she just doesn't like blue, which is so funny, because blue is one of my favorite colors, but I never really knit with it. So when I saw this, it just kind of reminded me of their conversation about blue yarn, and I was really just drawn to this. I love this. It's, I think, the perfect bright blue, but it's not too bright. It's really, I don't know, I think it's just gorgeous. So this is the same yarn that I'm knitting the Bumble Hat out of. So this is Malabrigo Dos Tierras. And this is 50% merino wool and 50% baby alpaca, and it's the Matisse blue colorway. Yeah, so this will definitely become a hat. I think I'll probably hold it together with some mohair that I got in Maine about a month ago, just to kind of like tone this down a little bit, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be a hat. It would also look nice in color work, just as like a little bright pop of color. So I don't know. It'll probably be a hat, but we'll see. The other thing I purchased is a Brooklyn tweed shelter in the Yellowstone colorway. So I've been wanting to knit a sweater out of Brooklyn tweed, just to do it, because I knit the Harlow Hat out of it, and I ended up really liking it. So I thought it'd be nice to try a sweater. So I think this is going to become the Nurtured sweater by Andrea Mowry, which is one of her newer patterns. So it's a super cute cropped sweater, and which I've totally been into crop sweaters lately, even though now I'm kind of into oversized sweaters. But I'll always have a soft spot for cropped sweaters just because they're so quick. And yeah, so I grabbed a couple of skeins of this just because I wasn't quite sure what it was going to turn into. But now that I've pretty much decided on the nurtured sweater, I'll go back and grab a few more skeins. So yeah, that's it for everything I've bought. So that's pretty much all I have to share with you guys this week. I do want to say hi to Ingrid, one of my subscribers. I think she's from the Netherlands, and she just says the nicest things on Instagram. She gave me the nicest comment, and she said that I inspired her to start sewing her own clothes again. And she made this amazing skirt, and it's just so nice to. I mean, there's a couple of reasons that I like podcasting and like sharing what I'm making, and that's probably the main one. Is I want to inspire people. I like being inspired, and I want to encourage and inspire other people to make things. I don't know. I think it's so great when people find a hobby or a craft that they love, and I love sewing and knitting, and I want everyone to find happiness in making things, and yeah, I'm just so glad that she started sewing. I mean, she makes awesome project bags, so she's already like an accomplished seamstress. So I think it's great that she's gotten back into making her own clothes. So hi Ingrid, thank you so much for your kind words. It really just it means so much to me. So anyway, I hope everyone is having a great day, and it's kind of a cold, semi-gloomy day here in Boston, and the forecast is only looking like it's going to get colder. So, yeah, we're heading to Texas for Thanksgiving for about a week, and it's crazy how, I mean, we leave in less than a week. We'll be there for a week, and then November will pretty much already be over, which is just absurd to me. I mean, it feels like it was just November 1st. Where does the time go? Yeah, so anyway, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll get a decent amount of knitting done on the plane, and then when I'm home visiting family, and then I'll come back and have more stuff to share with you. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.